Ladies and gentlemen, from La Casa de los Lobos, the pit, here at the University of New Mexico, let's get ready to rumble!
All right, I had to hit you with the triple. Hey, my name is Ryan Tamori. This is the Pit Press Live coming to you from Rio Bravo Brewing Company. If you are listening on X, YouTube, or Twitter, might have you check in to make sure we sound good. But happy to be here. Jason Eck will be with us. UNM head football coach will be with us in about 30 minutes. And it is Spencer Hill, the race car driver. You can go back to our YouTube channel and check that out. His sunglass release party in collaboration with KC Optical 2. To my left, who helps us out as well, it does work for KC Optical 2, Mr. Jeffrey Gordon. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Sorry, guys, I'm not Jason Eck, but I can do my best impression of him if you wanted to. But we are here, Ryan. Like you said, Coach Eck's going to be here in a little less than 30 minutes. We got our Spencer Hill racing release party in the back. It's a good time. Still got time to come out. Still going to be here probably longer than the hour and a half that we have scheduled.
Definitely. Can you talk a little bit more about, I guess, the sunglasses in a sense?
Yeah, so I'm wearing some of them right now. Spencer, if you don't know and you didn't listen to our show a few days ago, he's a great guy. He has a really great story, too. He broke his back in November of last year. He's worked tirelessly to get back onto the racetrack, and we are psyched at KC Optical 2 to team with Spencer to help tell his story and to help him launch this signature sunglasses line. I'm very excited.
Well, I am happy that you're helping us. I'm happy that we've got this week accomplished. I didn't think we would be right here. We normally don't go live. So from the location, it's been a busy week.
I haven't planned this much since my wedding, so
that says a lot. Former UNM basketball player George Scott's here. Greg Archuleta's here. They will be joining us too. Nick and Ed Nunez are here. My business partner Eric Moulton's here. We will talk to Spencer Hill in the upcoming moments. If you're in the area, this isn't my forte of how I pitch stuff, but if you're in the area, come on down. I can't do the Hooters pitch where the girls look good and say come on down, but Rio Bravo's bumping. Check out some sunglasses, free beer, not free beer, excuse me.
Right, good.
I'm putting words in my mouth. I was looking at my buddy. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good time. I'm happy to be here.
You will get appetizers if you come looking for something. That is the thing. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Last night's episode, we had Fernando Lobo on, your athletic director for the University of New Mexico. You can go check out that. We are watching you. You can go check out that interview on YouTube or X. Nick Nunez will probably be joining us in a bit. We'll break that down. Probably the man of the hour is Spencer Hill, but I would say probably the guest tonight is probably people looking forward to meeting Jason Eck, a man of the people. I know you're kind of, I don't want to use the word melancholy, but is there any inkling of enthusiasm for UNM football this fall?
It is way up. See, I like the way that Coach Eck is getting out into the community. I love that he's the man of the people. Like, it's really kind of hyping me up for football season. And it's something I haven't felt for a while now. So I can't wait to see what Coach Eck brings to the team. I really love the coordinators that he's bringing in. Like, pro-style offense sounds really intriguing to me. That's something we haven't had at UNM in a long time. So I can't wait to see what the product is going to be on the field. That's for sure.
I think he's probably had enough of football questions, so we will delve on it. I'm trying to have a more friendly, outgoing conversation with him, even though he's that kind of guy. So looking forward to that. I think I will grab my business partner. We'll take another quick commercial break. Again, we're at Rio Bravo Brewing Company this evening, this afternoon, late afternoon. I haven't been here in years, and it's bumping. It's exciting.
It's Max.
All right. Well, my name is
tight. It's time again for the ride of your life at Capital Ford. And the ride of your life begins now with employee pricing for everyone on new Fords. You pay what Ford employees pay. Employee pricing means buy a new 2025 Ford F-150 for just $599 a month. Or buy a new 2025 Ford Escape plug-in hybrid, only $499 a month during our Ride of Your Life event at Capital Ford in Santa Fe. Hold on tight.
Welcome back to the Pit Press Live. My name is Ryan Samori. We are at Rio Live at Rio Bravo Brewing Company. Spencer Hill Sunglasses release party with Casey Optical 2. Jason Eck will be here at 6 o'clock. And I am joined now by my business partner in this endeavor, Mr. Eric Moulton. Eric, how you doing?
Good. Off work. Have a beer, some food, spend some time with my family. Really thankful for Rio Bravo. Got some people lined up to join the show tonight too. So if you're around, come grab a beer. Come meet us. Hang out for a bit.
I would have imagined when we started this that you and I wouldn't have pictured being live at a packed room like this with the head football coach making an appearance, or any kind of coach making an appearance.
Yeah, excited to meet. Well, we've met Coach Eck, but excited to have him join us. And join us for a beer too. So.
No, I know he always mentions how he's looking to have a cocktail. I don't know. We're waiting for Nick and Ed Nunez. They told us they'd be here about 5:30 as well. If you go to our YouTube channel from last night, UNM Athletic Director Fern Lobo joined us last week. Associate Athletic Director Brian Berryman. They were good conversations, and I know, Eric, that's more your forte. What did you take away from Lobo last night? Again, you can go to our YouTube channel, the Pit Press NM, and check that out.
They're taking over kind of a difficult situation at a difficult time. But again, like I said it last night, I'll say it again. I'm really bullish on the staffing, Berryman, just the people that they have come in. I think the new vision, a younger vision, really trying to fill the stadium. I think they're trying to approach things a few different ways. So, yeah. But I think they've got the right plan in mind. It's really just trying to get everyone on the same alignment, same plan for everything, and kind of get the right coaches. I think coaching and two completely different visions, two head coaches. So getting them introduced and acclimated to the community. I think that's a big reason why Eck is coming here tonight, is because he's trying to meet as many people as he can and try to fill up as much hype as he can and get people back in that stadium, get it back to like how it was in the early 2000s. You were there, I was there. So again, I think a lot of changes. I think people are going to have to be patient. I don't think they're going to be a winner right out the gate, but we've got to get this community support back, get it headed in the right direction. And I think both coaches want to be here for a while. They don't want to just be here for the short term. Get the community to invest the time, get the university to invest the money and the support to get it turned around. It's a project. And Lobo touched on it last night. He really couldn't answer my question on the 5-year vision for the program because it's going to be ever changing. But I think they've got the right people, the right personnel to kind of get this thing back on track. So I'm just excited with where it's going to be. And there's the man of the hour himself.
No, we're very excited to talk to Jason Eck. We'll let him get settled in. I'll probably talk to George Scott and Greg Archuleta. I think we definitely want to talk to Spencer Hill. You normally don't get that kind of enthusiasm. I wasn't expecting that. You hear that elsewhere, so I think that's kind of the changing of the guard here. So I'm super excited to talk to him. We already have had him on the show. We will talk to him in 3 weeks. I might ask him if he has a favorite table game. We might keep things rolling around. Does George or Greg want to come on now? I'll let Greg. Eric, thank you, my man. All right, I'm going to introduce we work for a thing called newspaper. Yeah, I know. What is that? I'm happy to bring on a mentor of mine and somebody I got to know during my days at the University of New Mexico student newspaper, the Daily Lobo. He covered, and I'm sorry, Greg, I don't know what years you covered the beat for UNM football, until 2009 or 10?
1998. Clock is 1998 to 2010.
Okay. Greg Archuleta, the former beat reporter for the UNM football team, he had a stint with UNM we've been kind of mum on this, but you're going to be joining our site, the Pit Press Live, as a seasoned vet. Hopefully I can write better than I can talk. We're very excited to have you on. I don't know how you feel, Greg.
Well, hopefully I can remember how to write too. So I very appreciate if you guys have me back because it's been a while since I've been associated with global athletics. So happy to jump back in.
No, I'm excited. You know, you were there for the heyday of Lobo football when Rocky, and he's known as, I don't know if he still is, but the only head coach in the history of college football to add a win each year. I mean, I thought at a point there it was, you couldn't walk on the concourse, and I think over like a 5 or 6 year period, Lobo football overshadowed UNM basketball. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, the highest attendance figures in Lobo football were under Rocky Long, getting 44,000 for a Lobo Aggie game, and at a stadium that holds 35 or 38 were held at the time. And, you know, it just so happened that Richie McKay hadn't found his stride yet with as a basketball coach. And so, yeah, the party was actually at University Stadium and not at the pit. So those were very exciting times. But you mentioned that, and it's interesting to note that between him and Dennis Franchione, which I consider probably the one that started that momentum ride, both of them had losing records. So this just shows you the disparity between local football and local basketball.
What resonates with me well is the 97 season. I don't know if you were at the Daily Lobo then, or did you cover any of the Franchione years?
So I was a top editor of the Journal until the bowl game, and I took over actually as Johnson, the writer. So I was there for the WAC championship game against Colorado State, and then the bowl game, the Insight.com bowl,
right,
was so weird at the time, right? To say .com against Arizona. So from there then on, I covered the local football team.
No, what do you remember from that Insight.com bowl?
Well, I just remember that Graham Lee got hurt in the WAC championship game, and so really disappointing because I thought with Graham Lee they would have had a really good chance to finish out the season right. I just remember at the end of the game, and we're in Arizona, but it is December 27th, I think the game was, talking to Dennis Franchione, and we're both shivering outside in the cold. But, you know, great season that unfortunately ended with a couple of losses. But, you know, you talked about that defensive secondary they had. That was unbelievable. A young Brian Urlacher actually backing up at linebacker, but finishing with 100 tackles. So, like I said, I think Dennis Franchione was kind of the one put the local map and allowed Rocky to move forward from there.
The Runners mascot is in the building, and I'm looking at my buddy Steven.
All the stars are out.
Yeah, all the local stars are out tonight. We'll give them a high five. What do you remember most about the Rocky Long years? What sticks out?
Just how he turned New Mexico kids into good to great college football players. And I'll give you an example. Nick Spiegel, linebacker out of La Cueva that had 0 scholarship offers and actually ended up a couple of years with the Cleveland Browns. Now, Nick obviously had the frame at 6'5", and to me, they had the best had the best gym, the weight coach all time in Marco. So the way they turned New Mexico kids into the backbone of the program, to sustain that program for as long as Rocky stayed, that's what I remember, just New Mexico kids getting their due.
Yeah, no, that was the big, I think the big stink. And I remember, you know, my years at the Daily Lobo between guys like Ian Clark, who we've had on the show. I forgot to text him. Mike Mahoric, I believe, was a New Mexico guy.
Josh Bazinet.
Zach Arnett. A couple of the other guys that I played with, that I knew, I didn't play, but that I knew. God, I think about like the Frankie Vacas. So, yeah, I think New Mexico, it just drove it home. We sadly, you and I saw, and I guess I can't go any conversation without UNM football. I was there for the decline where it went from you filled up a stadium and then there were just nobody in the stands for the Loxley years. It was kind of sad to see, I think is what I'm asking.
Well, and that's what's happened. Yeah, I mean, and Rocky Long told me this a long time ago, and been through it. It takes so long to build up a program like UNM. It just takes 5 seconds for it to crumble, and then you have to start all over. And I think, even though Davey had a couple of good years, it's been an uphill climb for local football ever since.
No, I think it has. Even when Davey had the 2 winning years, I think they only averaged like 22,000 fans. What am I trying to say? Like I said, I can't talk. What do you know about Jason Eck, and what have you seen differently? And I don't know, how detrimental is it to a football, not Jason Eck, but I think UNM as a football program where you have 3 different coaches in 3 different years.
Well, and I think that's the landscape of college athletics with the NILs and paying players now. And so this is unfortunately the way they do business. And so a place like UNM, the thing that Rocky Long and Dennis Franchoni did was that, we got a coach that stayed 6, Rocky Long took 11 years, and had a coach that stayed, built the program from the ground up. People were patient with the 4 and 8s, 5 and 7, 6 and 6, and that isn't the case anymore. We're seeing with the basketball team, 14 brand new players, which is just boggles my mind. And so it'll be interesting to see what Coach Eck does. He obviously had success at Idaho, but now it seems to be about money. And so what does a place like UNM do to counter that? And so that'll be interesting. Hopefully, Coach Eck has some ideas, because I have no idea how you handle the NIL now at a place like UNM.
And especially with the revenue sharing and the house settlement, which is all over my head. Eric, my business partner, gets mad for me saying that on the record here, but it's true. And it's just ever changing every day. I don't know, Greg, what are you looking forward to this year? I mean, we're going to have you cover what you want, but you'll be a part of basketball coverage and football coverage and maybe anything else that you or I can think of, predominantly you. But what are you looking forward to this year? I don't know, maybe out of football or the basketball team?
Well, I think in both cases now we get to see what teams like the UNM does in the face of the changing landscape, where you have a new football coach. You're going to have a bunch of new football players, a new basketball coach with a completely overhauled team. And so what do they do to counter that? So we're going to see, one, how good coaches these guys are right off the bat, because they're going to have to hit the ground running. They don't have any backbone, so to speak, in terms of returning talent coming back. And then 2, what they do in the age of NIL to build up these programs. And you hope it's not a one done like Bronco Mendenhall, but seeing what these guys can do with the resources UNM have to make both programs successful and back to what the great folks at Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico want and need.
No, I think that's a really good answer. How did you feel about Richard Pitino leaving?
I don't feel bad about Pitino. I mean, with a name like Pitino, you kind of knew once he built the program up, he was going to look for greener pastures. I always remember Dennis Franchoni's initial press conference way back in 1991. And somebody asked him the same question: what are you going to do, if you build the program up and other schools are calling? And Franchoni flat out said, well, if I leave because of that, New Mexico is going to be pretty happy with the product we put on the field. That's exactly what Richard Pitino did. So I have no qualms about him leaving. I do have qualms, as you know, with the way Bronco Mendenhall left. You cannot leave a program after 1 year, no matter who you are. You just leave a program and a community in the lurch, no matter if it's for family or whatever it is. You signed a contract. You need to honor at least for 2 years and not set the program back 3 years. And I'm not saying that, Coach Eck can't bring it back, but that's basically what Mendenhall did, is turned his back on UNM when he knew what this place was having Coach Rivers for.
Yeah, I think because it's like a 180 complete with Eck and Mendenhall, you have to like what you've probably seen out of Jason Eck since he's been hired as head coach.
Oh, I mean, he's brought the energy, he's brought the enthusiasm. He seemed to buy into what the culture of the Lobo football and just of the Lobo athletic program in general. And you see him everywhere now out in public. So he's not only touting the football program, he's waving the flag for UNM. And so you want to see a guy like that. And so hopefully, that translates out of the football field. And hopefully people will reciprocate by starting to come to Lobo football games. Because like you said, even when Coach Davey was winning, they were coming.
Which is a bizarre thing to do because they also led, they were kind of exciting to watch. They kind of led they led the nation in rushing one year. And they had a stellar athlete, Lamar Jordan, and a couple of guys, trying to think in the backfield. We had him on, and his name is escaping me. I'm having a massive brain fart, but,
that was also the thing. And again, maybe this is a different era, but you're right. They led the nation in rushing. Won 9 games, and then for whatever reason, Bob Davey decided they were going to go away from the triple option and go to the spread option that everybody runs. So UNM's lone advantage of being a unique offense went out the window, and then lo and behold, they were 3-9 back-to-back years. So hopefully, and it sounds like from what I've heard with Coach Tech, is he's a lot more adaptable to the talent he has, which is going to be good because the talent turns over so much more, but you still have to have something unique at a place like UNM because you're not going to out-talent anybody.
Right, no, that's true. When we've had you on the show in the past, did you feel Danny got a fair shot? I think he deserved one more year.
I think it's yes and no. I mean, Danny obviously came to horrible Danny did, and the whole thing with Danny is a wife with a rifle, so he wanted to build up his team and for 2 years they really didn't have a weight training program because they couldn't gather as a team. But he also kind of put himself out there like, yes, we're going to go to a bowl game this year, and then when that didn't happen, it was, you can't make those promises. You can't keep it. I know Danny felt first because himself was on the line, but you got to keep it realistic expectations. So the fan base doesn't think, you're farther ahead than you really are.
No, right. I feel that. But I thought Danny, it was one of those situations where Danny was in Vegas for that year, and they lifted weights, and it was 7 years. They played at Sam Boyd. Sam Boyd doesn't exist anymore. Greg, I'm very excited to have you join us in the writing process, and we'll bug you to come on the show every now and then. But as I've always told you, you were a mentor of mine when I was in college, and I always throw the name out there, Isaac Alusea. I looked up to you, and now that we've started this and you can contribute, I'm very excited.
I'm excited that you guys invited me to come. Just looking forward to meeting you guys and helping you guys grow. Hopefully we can start watching some victories out of both football and basketball.
That would be awesome. This is Greg Archuleta, who is now joining us from Rio. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
All right. We probably will take a quick commercial break. I might ask George Scott to come on. We'll see if Spencer Hill will come on. He's kind of the man of the hour. But my name is Ryan Tamori. We're coming to you from the Rio Bravo Brewing Company. Very happy to have you here. UNM football coach Jason Eck is here, and then it's the Spencer Hill with Casey Optical Blue sunglass release party. We will be right back.
Now they really wanna come ask me why I gotta act like this. Tell them that my pocket too swollen, they already know I'm a flex with a bag like this. Like, I made the trap and it's literal. I'm making money, it's digital. They watch how I step in, it's pivotal. They wanna be me and it's pitiful. I cannot be no one else and I'm flexing, I'm glad to be me. There's no angle they can come for me, boy, I'm 0 degrees. Wait till you can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you not 100. Those the same ones say they loyal, they funny. You can't match my energy, and yeah, you know it. Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold. Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold. Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold. Yes, I meant it, yeah, man, I'm way too cold. Yeah, I'm killing it, I'm the realest. Ain't gotta say, gotta know you feel it. My flow got a code, sick as the illest. I know that I'm great and they about to witness me going in. I went way up, about to go again. You see me on the telly, then you tell a friend. Cause you know I'm about to rain, it'll never end. Cause I got big dreams, big goals, never settle, gotta keep on going now. You say you got it, and I'm Red Bull, I got the wings and I ain't coming down. No. I keep it straight, every line is so intentional. This is your moment to let it go. You know that I'm into it, I'm way too cold. You can't manage this, can't break this, boy, I'm funded. Gotta keep my distance when you not 100. Those the same ones say they loyal, they funny. You can't match my energy, and yeah, you know it. Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold. Way too cold, yeah, man, I'm way too cold. Way too cold.
Welcome back to the Pit Press Live. My name's Ryan Tamori. We're coming to you live from Rio Bravo Brewing Company. Just wanted to do some house cleaning. We're here for the Spencer Hill Sunglasses release party with Casey Optical 2. And then Coach Eck will be joining us. I'll get Spencer and Coach Eck here shortly. The Pit Press, the Pit Press Plus, your all-access pass to the heart and hustle of the University of New Mexico Athletic Department. With a monthly or yearly subscription, you'll unlock behind-the-scenes stories you won't hear anywhere else. Whether you're a diehard fan, a stats junkie, or just here for, yeah, we're gonna get Coach Eck down here in a second. Subscribe today, support this like live internet, support local sports journalism, and remember, real Lobos don't settle for the sidelines. I'm gonna take a quick break, and we'll get Coach Jason back on. All right, welcome back to the Pit Press Live. Very excited for our next guest. And George Scott saying what's up to him. All right. Coach, your UNM head football coach, Jason Eck. Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight.
It's great to be out here today. Brought my kids over to get a good meal here at Rio Bravo. So, great to be with Denise earlier, and appreciate you guys having me on again.
I'm looking forward to talking to you in Vegas. I'm looking forward to talking to a couple other coaches and the players. I will bug you predominantly, I think, with football questions down the road. I think I have to ask you, though, you know, and you maybe have gotten this a lot. You're here another month. It's like a whole new thing at UNM. And how are you feeling? Is it still day by day, I guess, my question to you?
Yeah, we're staying busy, but I feel like we made a lot of progress. Recruiting's going well. Coach Heim, our strength and conditioning coach, is doing a tremendous job with our team right now. They're working very hard, and we're anxious for July 29th. We officially report, and then July 30th is when we hit the field for the first time. But I'm very happy with the progress we made, but we got to keep going. We got to keep getting better every day.
I got to tell you something, and I asked Frank this today. I'm a big baseball guy. I get my love of college football from my mom, and I may have made this joke to you earlier. My mom thought when she was giving birth to me, I'm an only child, that I was going to go play offensive line at Wisconsin. That didn't happen at a Big Ten school. My dad wanted me to go to MIT. That didn't happen. So I get my love of college football from my mom, and I get my love of baseball from my dad. As much as I love, and I'll get to some point here, as much as I love baseball, to hear you say, hey, we're reporting on July 29th, we're getting in pads, that excites me. It also excites me as a New York Football Giants fan with a new brand new quarterback room. But anyway, the recruiting process, I'm not going to delve into it, but I love, and I had the pleasure of talking to Coach, your offensive coordinator, Luke Schleissner, got to pronounce that correctly, and then Spence Nowinski is the man, and then I've talked to Coach Daniel Prado. I will start there because he seems to be always on the road. He's always on Twitter. I don't know, how do you match his? You're pretty active. How do you match his energy?
Well, he's got great energy, and special teams, I think it's important for a couple reasons. One, I was always an offensive line coach, played offensive line, so I wasn't involved in a lot of special teams outside like the BAT field goal team. So to really have an expert in that field was great, and he has such a passion for it. Because a lot of kids, when we're recruiting them, they're dreaming of making the big touchdown or making the big interception. They're not always dreaming about running down a kickoff. So I think it's important that you motivate those guys to get them excited about it. I think he does a great job of stressing the importance of special teams, and also telling guys, there's a lot of guys who make a living on special teams, get a chance to play in the NFL. And he's very organized. He's my associate head coach. He's helped me stay on top of things, but he's been a great addition to our staff and helped us well with recruiting in Texas.
When I think of special teams, I don't know why I love the history and stuff. And my U.S. history degree is helping me in sales during the day. But anyway, I was thinking of somebody like Steve Tasker who made like a living out of it. I had the pleasure of talking to your defensive coordinator, Spence Nowinski. I don't know if I want to necessarily use the word energy. There was energy there. Very charismatic. He's had a reputation he turned around Ohio, a mid-major. What's so fantastic about Spence Nowinski, defensive coordinator?
Well, he's got a great passion for defense. He's a great motivator, a great technician. And it was proven. I coached with him a long time ago. We were grad assistants together. I coached against him. I was at South Dakota State. He was at Illinois State. And he goes on to Ohio U and has a top 5 defense in the whole country. So just a great track record. I was really excited to get him. He was my first call when I lost Coach Jackson, got that head coaching opportunity at South Dakota State. So I was very happy to get him through. And I think he'll have a big impact on our defense. And really, when you look at our team last year, now we don't have a ton of returning players, but look at last year's team's defense, where they struggled. They had a pretty good statistical offense, but not very good statistical on defense. So I think that's an area we can really improve a lot from last season.
I've looked at the roster. You would hope I've looked at the roster. Your son, and Randall Kapai, your son, who we've had the pleasure of having on, my kind of guys. I love defensive football. And Dimitri Johnson, I feel like that can be a real strength of your defense in 2025.
Yeah, we have a lot of experienced guys here. Dimitri played about 900 snaps last year. Randolph played 500 or 600. I think Jackson played about 800 snaps at Idaho for us. So we really have a lot of experience there at the linebacker spot. We're counting on that being a strength for us.
No, I appreciate that answer. And then we had the pleasure of talking to Luke Schleissner the other night, and that pro style offense. You've been working with Coach Schleissner for a while now. Is there? I've asked him this question. Is there a lot of camaraderie there between the two of you guys?
Yeah, this will be our 10th consecutive season coaching together. So we're really on the same page, and I think having Luke with me allows me to focus on other things. I don't feel like I have to micromanage the offense. I have great trust for him. He's a great developer. He gets guys better. He's gotten guys ready to play early in their career. So having Luke here is kind of like that guy on Snoopy used to have that blanket he used to always carry around, Linus,
yeah.
Coach Slice is kind of like that blanket. I really trust him and know he's going to do a great job. And we got to mesh a lot of new guys. We have new backs, new quarterbacks. We have some returners too. James Lobstein's going to be in the mix, competing with Jack Lane. But Luke will do a great job with all that. Luke's probably the smartest coach I've ever worked with. He really is a brilliant guy, and they say that you want to hire people who are smarter than you.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's you met my business partner Eric. He's much smarter than I, and that's why we've had success. And I love the Linus comment. I'm going to remember that. Kind of switching gears from football, how have you enjoyed the summer, your first kind of summer in Albuquerque?
It's been hectic. This week just ended a dead period. The first 3 weeks we were doing a ton of recruiting things, so we didn't have much time to relax. We were on the move. We went to a bunch of camps throughout the Southwest. Had guys on official visits here. Now that we're in this dead period, our coaches will rotate on vacation. We always want to make sure we have some coaches who are in the building every day as our players work out. But, now's the time when you can recharge. I kind of took a personal day today and hung out with the family. My wife was out of town for a couple of days visiting her sister. So there's so many great things to explore in Albuquerque, and my family's really enjoyed it. Wife really enjoyed taking the kids over to the zoo. We're going to go over to the Isotopes game on 4th of July, see the fireworks there and watch the game. So a lot of great places to explore in Albuquerque, just like this is my first time here at Rio Bravo.
Appreciate that answer. And I wanted to ask you about baseball, but is it nice to have, being that you're a Division I head football coach, is it nice to have like a dad? I'm a dad too. We're all dads on this network, on this platform. But is it nice to have a dad day when you have, a 24/7, almost 365 job?
Yeah, you have to find some time to, recharge, be around family. Sometimes we have to blend it. I think tomorrow our freshmen have a mandatory workout because of they had orientation this week. So I want to go down and catch a little bit of that tomorrow with Coach Hine, but I'll probably bring the kids down and throw the ball around on University Stadium Field a little bit with them. So you can't always balance it, but you got to blend it sometimes to keep family involved.
No, I hear you there. I don't have that kind of grueling schedule, but I can only imagine. I asked Frank what else I could ask you non-football related. He said you're a big baseball fan. I know you've thrown out a first pitch at Isotopes Park. I've got East Coast.
I haven't yet. I'm waiting for the invite. I did it over at Coach Brown had me do it for the baseball team.
That's it.
I did it for the softball team. So Nicole had me do it for softball as well. So I'm waiting for the invite at Isotopes. As long as I get my family some freebies, I'll come do it.
I will let Forrest Stolling, the media manager there, know. I didn't know that. I knew I saw pictures. I thought it was Isotopes, but now we can make that. We can pitch for you to do that. Have you been to an Isotopes game?
We actually went opening night. It was kind of a chilly night back in April. It was right before we moved into our house. We were living in a hotel over by the stadium for a few days. So I'm looking forward to a little better weather. But my 9-year-old son Maverick got a foul ball. He was all fired up about that. That's a fun thing. That's a nice thing to have in town. Again, I haven't the last few coaching stops I've been at. We haven't had something like that, minor league baseball. So it's just nice things for our coaches, for our players to do. There's a lot of things to do in Albuquerque.
Did you take in the stadium? It's a nice stadium.
I think it's a nice stadium. I thought it was a beautiful AAA stadium. Part of my growing up, I lived in Toledo, Ohio. They have a AAA team there, the Toledo Mudheads. So I went to a lot of those games growing up. But it's definitely that was a long time ago. But they've definitely it's a modern stadium. I think it's nicely done. It's well, and I need to get over to a soccer game too. I haven't. My 9-year-old son Maverick's a big soccer fan, so we got to get him over to a game as well.
What was the? And you'll have to forgive me. I'm not the big horse racing guy. I know you are. A buddy of mine, Jacob Neff, who joins us, he's got gambling lineage in Vegas. So horse racing, the Triple Crown is a big deal. But was that your first ever time in the Kentucky Derby?
No, I've actually been to 15 Kentucky Derbies, so I've gone to quite a few. My father played college basketball at Xavier in Cincinnati, so he started going to the Derby when he was in college, and then he was a horse racing fan. Got me into it a little bit growing up, and just always enjoyed it. I went the first time my senior year in college. I was at Wisconsin with a few teammates, and then I've kept going over the years. My wife's been about 8 now. She enjoys it as well. We had a fun time this year. Went with 2 other coaches, Coach Dan Jackson, head coach at South Dakota State, and his wife, and then Coach Joe Harsimiak. He's the head coach at UMass. Him and his wife went. So we had a good group of coaches. We're all new head coaches this year, so we had some common ground to talk about with starting up a program and changing things. So it was a good day, but that's something I enjoy doing. We're actually going to blend it a little bit this summer. We're going to have a booster event for our first team, which is our football booster club, and we're going to go down to Rio and go to the races there one day. So that'll be fun. So anyone who's a horse racing fan and a Lobo fan would love to have you a part of first team and make that trip down with us end of July.
I like that. That's different. Does the Kentucky Derby, does it change any time? Is each experience unique?
They continue to renovate and kind of put together new things at the Downs, so they're continuously upgrading that. But it's pretty consistent. You hope the weather's good. We had a little rain this year. I learned my lesson after all those years ago. We had covered seats, so we weren't out in the open where the rain was pouring on us. But it's a little different every year. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't win. I had a good day on the Oaks Day and one on the Oaks Day on Friday, but my Derby Day was not as good. Luckily, Coach Harsimiak, he had a big one at the Derby, so he bought dinner that night. So it ended up working out all right.
As we're joined by UNM head football coach Jason Eck, I don't want to keep you any longer, and I thank you for your time tonight. Is there a level of excitement? You've already gone through the job process. You have the staff, you have the players, you've done recruiting. Then we inch closer, I guess you've been here 7-8 months, and are you just filled with excitement, or what are your emotions?
Very excited, and that's one thing a coach you do. You get hired in December, and you don't coach a game till August 30th. So it's a long build-up. But spring ball was very fun to get out there with the guys, and now we're at the next stage with our summer conditioning, and we'll be very, very excited for July 29th to get the whole team back together, hit the practice field to get ready for the season.
I appreciate that. I'm going to leave you with one comment. So we were growing up when I was in high school. During the Rocky Long days, one of my buddies, Steven, is over there. My buddy Mike was actually a manager for Steve Alford when he was the head coach. We used to buy tickets for the game and sneak, we weren't at UNM yet, and sneak down behind the Lobo bench. And I'm a diehard New York football Giants, was. And we lived and died with the Lobos every week. And there's still a game where they went on the road and beat Urban Meyer in Utah. And you couldn't walk. I've been telling this a lot. I told the Lobo, I told it to Frank. You couldn't walk to the bathroom in the concourse. And I have longed for those days at University Stadium. And I have gone through my ups and downs with the Lobo football program. But I can just say, from an outsider looking in, even though we're in the member of the media, I kind of jokingly say, I calls it as I sees it. I am very enthusiastic for you to be your coaching staff, and I'm going to be traveling to the away game as a member of the media covering this, so I am excited for that. But I'm excited for the energy that you've brought, and kind of why I asked maybe you to join us tonight. I don't want to keep you any longer. I just wanted to let you know that I am very enthusiastic about you and your coaching staff.
Well, I appreciate it, Ryan. We're really excited to be here. I think that's a common theme through our staff. A lot of guys are very excited to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico, coaching up the Lobos, and it's going to be a fun season. We're going to surprise some people this year, so it's going to be a fun year.
I sincerely mean this. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us, Ryan.
That is UNM football coach Jason Eck. Another quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Spencer Hill, George Scott, Ed and Nick Nunez are here. It's a whole party. So we'll be right back. This is the Pit Press Live. All right, welcome back to the show. My name is Ryan Tamori. This is the Pit Press Live. Because we're out in public and I had some friend support, this is one of my very good friends, and I mention him on the show a lot with our other good friend, Mike Mades, Steven Pena, a.k.a. I don't call you it, but a.k.a. Boo.
How you doing, Tamori?
You and I, I'm doing well. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for supporting me.
Yeah, go Lobos.
How was Formula One with Brad Pitt?
Good movie, man. Brad Pitt, he still has it. If you want to see a good old-time sports movie with a lot of sports tropes, go watch that.
What am I probably watching tonight? I'm probably watching Minecraft, which I have not seen yet. Well, you and I ended up hopping on a plane to Cleveland with you for the NCAA tournament. I had always dreamed about covering it, pursuing this career path, and you kind of nudged me. So you and I, bright and early on, Wednesday before the tournament, got on an airplane to Cleveland. I don't like to fly, and I was better probably on the first flight than I was the second flight. But what did you think of the NCAA tournament, man? And for UNM to get a win?
I mean, it was one of those bucket list items. You want to see your team play in the NCAA tournament, and to get to do that was amazing, man. Simple as that.
It was fun to watch a game because we thought we were going to probably hop on a plane on Saturday had they lost, and instead we loved Cleveland. We stayed there for the whole time, and you did drink a lot of beer.
Drank a lot, got to see a lot. Cleveland, beautiful city. And, a Lobo victory. And we should have had 2 victories out there. There ain't no other way to put it, but pretty damn good time.
Talk about the LeBron play.
The LeBron play, I went to a 2-man play out there in the Cleveland Playhouse. It was awesome. It was like a 2.5-hour play. It tracked the friendship through the viewpoint of LeBron's career. It was really well done.
Probably, I would love to go see the Guardians play. You know my love for the movie Major League. I wore my Chief Wasp hat out there, regardless of how you feel politically. But, man, I know you predominantly are the bigger football fan professionally. But as I mentioned, there was a time where you, Mike, and I lived and died with Lobo football and Rocky Long. I don't know, just your emotions on UNM football, because I know you speak your mind.
I think the excitement is high. Coach Eck looks like a football coach. He talks like a football coach. He carries himself like a football coach will hear a man. And so my excitement level is not as high as it's been in a long time for UNM football. But as you know, I have one thing, and one thing only. You must beat State. And you must beat them decisively. And that should be an every year thing, not a once every couple of years. It needs to be a habitual habit that State will be beat, regardless if it's here or if it's down south, every single year. And a lot of the other games are cool, and they're icing on the cake. But in the current landscape of college football, it needs to be beat State here, down there. It don't matter where. Got to beat them.
So they could go 1-11, and you wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll be honest, because I know the landscape of college football. I don't have these crazy dreams of competing for Mountain West championships. I just don't. And it's changing for the worse at this point. But can we beat State every year, and can we have competitive games? Yes, and that's what I'm expecting.
And I knew you were going to say that. What about Utah State this year?
I mean, Bronco left us high and dry. And I think all Lobo fans are hurt, and all Lobo fans want to see is a competitive game. And somehow, some way, if we can win that game, that might be right there almost on the level of a State game. It ain't going to be beating State, but it's going to be pretty damn close.
I would imagine you. I can't remember the dates now. I think it's the 27th, September 27th, and I think our 20-year reunion's the weekend before. But you plan to be at the NMSU game this year, right?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I always love when we come here. It's always must see. But again, I bring all my energy, and even as a
38-year-old men anything other than a win and at the very least a very tough performance, and that's been lacking. That lacked in the last few eras of UNM football. So I'm hoping Coach kind of turns the ship around, imparts to a lot of these kids that, for a lot of the fans in the stands, like myself, this might be the only game they go to in a given UNM football year. So we need to go win it to try and get fans out to more games.
Well, man, I appreciate you and Chu and Troy Rivas showing up.
I love Rio Bravo.
And I haven't been in here in forever.
Oh, it's awesome.
What'd you have to drink?
Did I have what?
What kind of beer did you have?
I had a honey ginger and then their IPA. Really liked their IPA. Honey ginger was good, though, too.
Well, it's a good shout out for Rio Bravo. Hey, man, I thank you for joining the show.
I love you. All right.
Yeah.
See you in the Lobos.
See you in the Lobos. All right, another commercial break. We will be right back. All righty, welcome back to the Pit Press Live. My name is Ryan Tamori, and I am joined by the man of the hour. And even though I was able to get the UNM head football coach here, he gracious. Say that again. I'm sorry.
The other guy in the hour.
The other guy in the hour. Yeah. Graciously came on our show Tuesday night. This is his sunglasses release party here at Rio Bravo Brewing Company. His name is Spencer Hill. Spencer, how are you tonight, man?
Ryan, I'm doing awesome. We had such a good turnout tonight for the sunglasses release party, man. Everybody's fired up, and as we were talking earlier this week, it's just been so nice to have such a great support system for me. I broke my back in a racing accident back in November, and a lot of my future was just unsure. There were so many questions as far as when I'm going to get back behind the wheel, how things were going to be able to work themselves out on a marketing standpoint, of course, the racing standpoint as well. And, I mean, stuff like tonight really goes to show just how important it is to have a good group behind you and a good team both on and off the racetrack. and I'm having a great time. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for having me on again.
Well, no, it's your. We made. I feel we let me use the right words, and let me use my degree in communication. We helped contribute to this tonight, and I'm happy to be here. I'll talk to you guys later. Those are two of my good friends. So, lost my train of thought. We were a minute part. That's what I said. Let me get my words out. A minute part in this. I know Jeffrey Gordon has done a lot behind the scenes. He's also helping us out. So it's exciting. I just think it's very cool, your story with the injury and more the story of the comeback. Because, I mean, I know America likes second chances, but I think America likes a comeback story. And I think it's very cool you're on this, what a year later makes. So I think for you to be here, you're eyeing being back on the track with that race. I know we already talked about it Tuesday night, but I mean, you're here now. How does it feel?
I mean,
I hope I said all the right things there. Sorry.
You did. So it's so odd being in the position that I'm in right now, as far as going through something that's so catastrophic when it comes to racing, because racers, all we really know how to do is race. I mean, that's all I've been wanting to do ever since I got injured. So to have that opportunity basically ripped from you and having to think outside of the box of, okay, I can't personally get behind the wheel myself right now. What can I do? How can I stay relative in the sport? How can I continue to give back? And I figured that out. Tomorrow, for example, I'm going to go down to Las Cruces, and I'm going to be crew chiefing on a car for a guy out of Phoenix. That's one of the ways that I've been doing it. Another way is I've actually kind of turned the page, and now I'm on the other side of the glass, and I'm announcing for the same series that I was racing for last year, which has been amazing in its own right, because I've been able to see a bird's eye view of the second best view that you can get at the racetrack, aside from being behind the wheel, and being able to call these races and follow stories throughout the year. And I feel like that's actually going to be an advantage when I do get back behind the wheel, because I hadn't missed a big part of the season like everybody would have assumed that I did. I'm still current with everything that's going on. I'm still out there doing awesome scenarios like what we have out here with Casey Optical 2. I'm supporting my partners, and I'm staying relevant in the sport that I love. And that really does go a long way for me.
No, I'm super excited for you. And as I told you, I am not. I think I watched Daytona, and I got to know who. And I'm not trying to talk ill. I watched Daytona. I'm intrigued by, I think, the FedEx Cup. I think that's pretty cool. And then I know Formula One has taken over. And I watch a little bit of IndyCar just because, I'm that casual fan. My love is baseball, football, hockey, basketball. But I don't know. You're still an athlete, obviously. I think that's a lot of people. That's a misconception. I knew that. And your journey back. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, because you can listen to our conversation on YouTube on our channel. But I think for you to be here, I mean, this is just kind of a celebration, also of probably where you've been and where you're going.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that you're basically getting at there is whether you're looking at football, baseball, basketball, hockey, racing, it's a team sport. It's not just me out there. I know that I get a lot of the press, a lot of the publicity. I'm in front of the camera right now. But that's a very minute part of what makes up this race team and what makes us actually get out onto the racetrack. There's so many people, and a lot of them are here tonight at Rio Bravo Brewing, and they're the ones that actually make it happen. They're the ones that have supported me through all of my wins, all of my wrecks, all the good bad things. And I can't do it without a really strong team. So I don't care if you're having a rough day playing shortstop, or if your tight end is needing to pick up the slack a little bit. The rest of your team is how you're surrounded, and they determine what your next step is. Do you continue down a slope of negativity and make it a bad season, or are you able to turn it around and actually make a positive out of that and climb yourself out of the hole. And that's where I'm at right now with my racing career, is trying to get myself out of this hole and back behind the wheel of a race car and back in victory lane where we belong.
I appreciate that answer, and thank you for listening to my incoherent ramble there, what I was trying to get to. I didn't ask you this the other night. Do you watch any other sports?
A lot of people actually have asked me that before, and I'm a very casual fan. Like you just mentioned, how you casually tune into maybe some F1 or some IndyCar. That's how I am with other sports, and a lot of the reason behind that is I'm at the racetrack every weekend.
I figured that.
When all the other sports are going on. So because of that, I have to be just a very casual fan. Oddly enough, because of this back injury that I sustained in November, I did start watching football, and I like my little bit of sports gambling as well. And so I did pick up NFL a little bit, and that was fun because that's something that I've never been able to get myself into. And all of a sudden now I'm going through and I'm looking at the draft picks and everything. That's something that I would have never done if it wasn't for this injury. So there's positivity to pull out of that as well. It's like my mind is now opened up to other sides of sports, and now I can go to a bar like this and have a conversation with you and actually somewhat understand what's going on. And it's just, you got to bring out the positivity in everything in the world.
Did you have the pleasure of meeting Coach Jason Eck tonight?
I have not. Unfortunately, I would love to, but I know everybody's been so busy.
Yeah, no, it's been Jeff's been running around like a crazy person, as is the runner's mascot. But
how about Rio?
I know he's everywhere. I need to talk to Andreas Trujillo. I don't even know what Andreas's title is. He's owner. I don't know if he's general manager, but I know he's owner of the runners. I need to get him back on the show. Spencer, I don't know. Congratulations tonight, man. We're gonna bug. Like I said, I'm gonna bug you over the holidays and when you get on the track. And I know it's the end of June. We're pushing on July, and 4th of July is next week. But I can't imagine you're not counting down the days to get back in the cockpit of the car and get going, right?
100%. I'm so excited to get back behind the wheel. I'm working hard at it. I'm building cars right now. So you guys will be one of the first ones to know, and you have an open invite anytime you want to come out to the racetrack, Ryan. I appreciate holding you and the Pit Press do. You do a really good job of supporting not just Lobo sports, but sports in general. And I know how hard it is on the media side of things just to get interviews lined up, to bring all this equipment out, to put on a good show like we're doing right now on YouTube and everywhere else. It's a lot of work, so thank you as well. I really appreciate all that you guys do.
No, I thank you, and I wish you the best of luck. And like I said, we've built a partnership, so I'll bug you and have you on the show a lot more now. So congratulations, Spencer Hill.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, well, appreciate talking to Spencer Hill again. We're at Rio Bravo Brewing Company for a sunglass release party. His sunglasses with Casey Opticals too. We've had Jason Eck on. We've had Greg Archuleta, former beat reporter for the University of New Mexico football team of the Albuquerque Journal. He's going to be joining our platform. Had my buddy Steven on. I think I'm going to probably wrap it up with George Scott, but I'm going to take another quick commercial break. We appreciate everybody watching. Again, my name is Ryan Tamora. This is Pit Press Live from Rio Bravo Brewing Company. Welcome back to the Pit Press Live. As I've mentioned multiple times, Spencer Hill is here with a sunglasses release party with Casey Optical 2. I'm now joined optometrist, correct? Yeah, sorry, you were thrown at me. Drew Casey, I feel terrible saying that. You are owner of the doctor, and are you the owner of Casey Optical 2?
So, funny enough, I'm not actually the owner. I do have the same last name, but originally from Columbus, Ohio, and just was looking for a job when I moved to Albuquerque, and my name was on the building, so it seemed like a match made in heaven for me.
That's a phenomenal story. You're an Ohio State guy. Did you go to college there? Did you get your...
Yep. I'm from Ohio, so I went to the University of Akron for undergrad,
Okay.
Northeast Ohio. Everybody knows that's where LeBron's from, and then went to optometry school down in Columbus at Ohio State.
Very cool, and you're from Columbus.
I am, yep.
So being that I'm from here, because you just met me, you'll get this story. My mom thought she was giving birth to an offensive lineman. I was not an offensive lineman. I tell that story a lot on our show. The movie Major League, I watched it. I'm pushing 40. I watched it at like 5 years old. I got older and I got the jokes, and I was like, I should have never been able to watch this movie. Regardless how you feel, I own it because of the movie Major League. I have a cheap Wahoo hat. I'm a New York Mets fan. But UNM played in Cleveland in the first and second round. I went and I covered the team, and I loved downtown Cleveland. Probably to much people around, well, they do, and it's a butt of jokes. I worked with a guy who was from Columbus and went to Arizona State. I don't think it's fair for Cleveland to be the butt of jokes. It is a through and through sports town.
It is. What I love about Ohio is, it's especially Cleveland up there, it's a Rust Belt town. It's a blue-collar town. It's cold in the winter. It's hot in the summers. But, man, they love their Cleveland Guardians now, and they love the Cleveland Browns. So it is a sports town through and through.
I would imagine you're still on cloud 9 with what Ohio State accomplished in January.
Yeah, man, growing up, there was a lot of tears coming from me watching Ohio State football games, so it felt good to finally get one to go all the way.
Were you one of the how has your opinion, if any, has changed on Ryan Day?
Well, I will say I was absolutely calling for his job. I was raised in grade school when our teachers would bring up Michigan, the entire class would boo. In Columbus, it's a bad year if you lose to Michigan. And I was in Texas at my girlfriend's house at a bar watching it, and I was like, all right, we're done with this guy. I was like, the worst thing we could do is go and win a championship, and he gets a new contract, and I'm happy that I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen now.
Is he forgiven because of what happened?
He has a short leash. So as funny as that sounds, it's hard for a UNM fan to relate to, but even being in getting in that national championship, we are real tired of losing to that team up north. So it was kind of like, this game will stay. He was like, all right, we'll allow this last off. You better not lose again.
My buddy Matt Harden, again, who I met in news, is from Columbus, ASU grad, diehard Ohio State, and we messed with each other all the time, and he was like, he has got, this is the G-rated version. He was like, he has got to go. So I appreciate that. I think that's great. I mean, what are your expectations for Ohio State football this year?
In my heart or in my brain?
Both.
So obviously, we got the best player in all college football, Jeremiah Smith, coming back. So when you got somebody like that, man, you've always got a chance. But it's tough losing Will Howard was darn near fifth-year senior. He was an experienced guy coming in. The nice thing about Ohio State is we've always got a 5-star quarterback sitting on the bench somewhere. But those first couple games are rocky. So,
Texas.
Yeah, Texas it's going to be a good first match. I'm actually going to go back to Columbus for that game. I'm excited for it, but it's good to get a protest like that. Sometimes it's tough. When Michigan gets these tough calls like UNM for a couple games. I'm sorry, guys.
Don't say that to the head. Don't say that to Jason Heck.
But it's good to have competition like that early in the season. So, I think we can win the Big Ten championship. The Big Ten is not the Big 10 or the Big 18 now, so there's a lot of teams in that conference now. But I think we can compete and get back to the national championship for sure.
So I talk about this a lot on our show. My parents are from Central New Jersey. I lived there. I grew up there as well. My dad got his master's in records. I still look at it. I'm like, what the expletive is records doing in the Big Ten? I look at Maryland, and they can hang. And I have a history with the head coach there now. He was at UNM. I have competitive meeting. But the teams like that, and then like it sounds like you're on top of it, like what the Pac-12 has become. When I think of the Big Ten, I don't think of Rutgers and UCLA volleyball.
No, when I think of the Big Ten, I think of really crappy football weather. I think of Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa. Like those are places, Ohio, Michigan. Those are cold places to play in November. And it doesn't seem right that in November you can go to Southern Cal and go play in LA, and that's a Big Ten game. But that's just something I'm gonna have to get used to.
Yeah, no, it's I don't. It still bugs me as much as I love college football and college basketball. It drives me nuts. How did you find yourself in Albuquerque?
So I was in optometry school. I graduated May of 24, and the previous year we were out here.
Congratulations! It's only a year ago.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's been just about a year. I moved to Albuquerque, I guess. But I was looking for a job out here. I had a job lined up, and I was in the U-Haul and got the email that my job fell through. So I was kind of scrambling, and I reached out to a couple of local optometrists here, and they gave me Kimberly Broderick's name, the owner of Casey Optical too. And I said, my last name's Casey. You need a doctor. Let's make something happen.
I've not as an optometrist. My U.S. history degree and my print journalism degree served me well in my sales job during the day, and then doing this. I've been in your shoes where I've gotten an offer and it's been rescinded. So I feel for you there. Drew, man, nice to meet you. Thank you for taking a few minutes to talk. I love it. I'm just a big college football fan in general. So welcome to New Mexico. Thanks for talking to me. Yeah, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. That was Drew Casey of Casey Optical too. I didn't want to kick him off soon, but I wanted to get Jackson Eck on, the son of Jason Eck and linebacker at UNM. So once again, sorry for this quick commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. My son is here. Say hi. You want to say hi? All right, and I don't know if you can see him. I'm going to wrap the show up. I want to thank Casey Optical 2, Spencer Hill. I want to thank Rio Bravo Brewing Company. I want to thank Greg Ochoa and Nick Nunez. Special thanks to Jason Nick and his family. I appreciate that. We'll bug Jackson Nick down the road again. George Scott. Who else am I forgetting? I'm looking at Nick Nunez right now. I got to plug our show Tuesday. Throw it over to me one more time. Sam Ehrlich, and what does he do? He's a professor from Boise State. He's going to talk house settlement. Nick will also have something on the website on the Pit Press Plus over the weekend at some point, maybe Monday. I want to thank everybody for watching. I know it was a little. I want to thank my friend Steven, my friend Chu, Troy Rivas, who I need to get on the show. I want to thank everybody for watching. I know it's a little loud. Again, we don't do a lot of live broadcasts. We just felt that this one was very necessary. You want to say something else with the microphone? You're on the camera. Right there. Are we going to play the Nintendo Switch too? Yeah, okay.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. All right. Thank you to everybody. My business partner, Eric Mullen, Andreas Trujillo. I need to get him on the show. Congratulations to Spencer Hill on the Sunglasses release. My name is Ryan Tamori. We will see you live next Tuesday night. And as always on our Twitter, we'll post it. Everybody have a great weekend. And as I always say, don't do anything that I would do.